What is going on, everybody? It is your observant lineman, Uche Waneri. Welcome to Lineman Life. You know, took a little week off last week on this. Been going through the season. Season ended. We did some college football breakdowns, but slowed down just a tad bit. But I do appreciate everybody being in here today. Do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already done so. And subscribe if this is your first time on the stream. We're going to be talking about the biggest story, the 800-pound elephant in the room here in a second. But first, I want to say what's up to my O-line, RC from NYC, with the fist bump for $3 there. Appreciate that, RC. Appreciate that. Mr. Slaughter, what up? What up? Hope everybody out there on the line is doing well. But yes, I think we all heard the news earlier today. J.J. Watt signed with, or is signing with the Arizona Cardinals. Looks like he's signing a 2-year, I believe it's $31 million. 2-year, $31 million with $23 million guaranteed. You know, we'll go through an article here in a second and take a look at that, and I'll give you guys my feelings on this signing. I think some of you may be surprised with how I feel about this, but also we've got, you know, quarterback drama going on right now with Russell Wilson out in Seattle. Nobody really knows what the situation is there. I mean, the story as we know it so far is that Russell Wilson went to Pete Carroll with concerns about the offensive line. And I think in that he probably presented some ideas that he thinks will help the offense along better in terms of game plan, scheming, things of that nature. And I guess Pete Carroll kind of either didn't receive it the way that Russell Wilson expected, you know, to at least feel like, you know, his coach shared his concern and actually would you know, think about what he talked about. It seems more like Pete Carroll, or at least in some way, felt he made Russell Wilson feel as if he was blowing him off. So Russell Wilson decided to take the message on the road. He's on tour. He dropped a tweet, dropped a tweet suggesting where the Seahawks should trade him, even though he still wants to play for Seattle. But if they want to trade him, these are the places he'd like to go. I think he said Dallas, Miami, Chicago, Dallas, or I think I already said Dallas. But Grant, I think who else was it? What other teams was it that he wanted to go to? New Orleans and I think there might have been one more. I don't remember. But anyways, you know, that caused a big stir. Of course, that's the franchise quarterback. That is the franchise. I mean, you know, he led them to their first Super Bowl. Oh, yep, Vegas. There you go, Slaughter. Appreciate that. Vegas. That was another team. And I did a video on that, broke down those team situations as it stands now. And, I mean, the best fit for him out of all those teams, honestly, I could see, and I didn't talk about this team in particular on my video, but I definitely could see him in Chicago. But he's probably the best fit in a place like New Orleans. And, you know, New Orleans can't afford him. New Orleans can't afford nobody. I think they're like they're $71 million over their salary cap. Like, them cats got to cut half their roster, like, immediately, or they're going to be screwed. So that's the situation right now with Russell Wilson. And then we got, you know, some pretty tragic news, actually, dealing with former player from Notre Dame. It was a missing persons story to start with, but Lewis Nix, who was defensive lineman, I believe, in the NFL from Notre Dame, played with a few teams from Jacksonville, actually a Jacksonville native. He was found dead just the other day in a retention pond in Jacksonville near his apartment. This was apparently, they haven't really given out any details in regards to the circumstances surrounding it. I mean, they did.
Duval Ford gives you options when servicing a vehicle.
Stupid ads. They did find his body underwater in his car, which, I mean, there could be a number of different scenarios I guess you could think of that deal with that. But I'll go through an article or so. I'll go through an article about that here in a moment, and we'll check out that story and see exactly how it's playing out, what the story is right now. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into this article with J.J. Watt. As you can see, everybody knows what's going on here. J.J. Watt signs with the Cardinals. Let's take a look at some of the details here. It's funny, like, I don't know. This picture rubs me like weirdly. It's like, dude, just announce it. Like, we don't need to see, like, were you really lifting weights right there? I don't see any sweat. I don't see any sweat on the shirt. Everything looks fresh here. It looks like you're at their facility because, you got the red here, the red and the white on the squat rack. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. This is cool though. Cool. And again, I don't have nothing against J.J. Watt, but I mean, this is kind of lame. Not gonna lie. That's a lame picture. Says here, Arizona Cardinals free agent defensive end J.J. Watt agreed to 2 years, $31 million contract Monday. Watt announced the destination on Twitter with Ian Rappaport, NFL Network confirmed the details. He took lame pick. Source, me. That's what he said. He's the source. Well, of course you're the source. Watt, 31, has spent his entire 10-year NFL career in Houston, becoming the greatest player in franchise history. He, Lawrence Taylor, and Aaron Donald are the only 3-time winners of the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year award. The Texans and Watt mutually parted ways last month, and I always talk about that term because I never heard that term. Was not a term the NFL used, not at all. I mean, that's a new term that's come to the NFL, mutually parted ways. No, there's no mutually parted ways. You were released. You're released. It's not mutual. Like of course, I guess in the literal sense, he didn't want to play there anymore. But how many players want to play at the teams that they're at? How many players want to play at the team that they're at? And how many end up playing for that team because of the contract they signed? And the team has the discretion as whether or not to keep you. The team releases you when they release you, or your contract runs out. J.J. Watt had another year on his contract. Now, wasn't no guaranteed money in it, but it was another year on his contract. He got released. That's what it was. I guess, you could say we're splitting hairs, but he got released. That's actually what happened. Further inflaming questions surrounding the future of the franchise. Houston has been engulfed in controversy the entire offseason after quarterback Deshaun Watson requested a trade. While both sides remained professional during Watt's departure, his frustration with the franchise was clear toward the end of the season. Teams immediately began expressing interest as soon as he hit the market, with around a dozen teams reaching out. Watt remains an effective player when he's on the field, although injuries have ravaged the second half of his Texans tenure and made him a far less dominant pass rusher. I can see those as legit. That's a legit point. That's a legit point for sure. He's been injured a lot in the last few years. That's true. Watts missed 32 games over the past 5 seasons and set a full season career low with 5 sacks in 2020. Okay, that's the red flag. There it is. Because look, Houston has pretty much, I mean, Houston's path as a franchise in the last 10 years, it's pretty much been the same path that the Jaguars franchise has had. So it's been, good collection of talent, but no ability to like really get themselves over the hump. And then you have the 2017 year with Jacksonville. Then you have the 2019 year with Houston. And these two teams both have objectively good seasons. They both have really good regular seasons led by great defense, by a defensive showstopper. And that was J.J. Watt for Houston. In the same way that, maybe not in the same way, but in a similar way as, a Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell, even, Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville. So, that was, at the very least, he was the heart of the defense, at the very least. But that's like almost an anomaly for these teams when they have those kind of years. And then all of a sudden, the next year when you expect more, you get less. And I'm saying all of this to really speak to the career low 5 sacks, because he's played on teams that were not nearly as dysfunctional, but almost as bad as the team they had last year. And he still was posting 14 sacks, 15 sacks, and, maybe a pick 6, probably like 30 batted passes, 40 batted passes. Like his numbers were still big. And, that being, with all of this dropping down to 5 in this last full season, and on top of that, he's missed 32 games, which basically is he's missed 2 seasons worth of games. That really does kind of, those are indicators of somebody who's moving past their prime. That's really what that is. That's where you're now going to see that his role is more to help bolster the younger talent and help lead and create a culture and a mindset for the younger talent, so that they can benefit from having that kind of player with that kind of drive. He's going to be more important in that respect, I think, than, just being a playmaker on the field. Because I don't think he's going to be their, he won't be their biggest playmaker, but he will make some big plays, sprinkled out throughout the season, and it's going to be good. That will keep his relevance on the field at a high clip. But you got Budda Baker on that defense. Who's the other defensive end? I forget his name. But anyways, it's his role is going to be important for the Cardinals to be able to move up and have a chance at really taking the NFC West. Because if you looked at if you watched some of their games in this past season, the Cardinals had the talent to win the division. Like, they did have the talent. I just think they lacked the execution. And part of what causes you to lack execution is not necessarily understanding or not necessarily being able to play up to a level that can allow you to dominate, but also not try too hard. There's a difference between playing at a high level and trying too hard. And when you get pressed, like a young team like that was getting pressed last year, their head coach to their quarterback to their defense began to all start to kind of waver and not, get away from the things that really did make them a threat early on in the season. So having somebody like J.J. Watt is going to give the biggest boost to the leadership trait, to the culture trait for the franchise. That's where they're going to benefit the most. Not for him being a player on the field, but he'll still have a serviceable, playing year. And I mean, saying serviceable for J.J. Watt means he's going to have a great year. If he was just an average player, it would be a great year. He's going to have a good year being a great player. So, that's how I see that. Says here also, Pro Football Focus nevertheless gave Watt an excellent overall grade of 85.4 for the season, owing in large part to his continued dominance against the run. I wouldn't put too much stock in the Pro Football Focus stuff. Let's see here. Adding a player of Watt's caliber is an obvious boost for a Cardinals team looking to make a Super Bowl push. Arizona ranked 10th in defensive DVOA last season, but Watt could be the potential missing piece in his front seven. Watt will be reuniting with the wideout DeAndre Hopkins, with whom the Texans traded to the Cardinals last offseason. Yeah, we know about that. Overall, like I said, I feel like a better, well, I won't say better. I don't think that any one of these teams that he was probably looking at, I don't think that he makes any one of them. I just don't believe that he is the piece to get a team to the Super Bowl. Not at this point. No, he's not. A lot of teams, I mean, you look at Green Bay. Green Bay probably could have benefited from him more than any other team, but it's still, he's not the piece that puts them in the Super Bowl. I think we all kind of saw the meltdown that Green Bay had of sorts against Tampa Bay in the playoffs. This is a team that had 3 opportunities on 3 turnovers to score points, and they went 3 and out twice and scored 3 points on the last possession. This is a team that didn't go for it, or this is a team that had opportunities to win that game, and it didn't boil down to they couldn't get a pass rush. It didn't boil down to them not being able to stop the run. It just boiled down to them losing. But they don't have they don't have a game changer at defensive end, but I mean, you could argue that J.J. Watt's not a game changer anymore. He is still a completely viable threat on the field. But I mean, I can't get mad at a defensive lineman who has 2 pick sixes in his career. I mean, I can't get mad at that. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think there's anything that I'm saying there that's not like evident about where his career is right now. But he's still a viable threat, which can, being the kind of guy that he's been, he'll have games where he looks like that old J.J. Watt. He'll have games that look like that. So it's good for him. What do you guys think in the chat here? Let's see. Superstars mutually parted ways. Everyone else was released. Yeah, it's weird. Mexican Iron Man, what's going on, man? Mexican Iron Man for $5. Got a super chat here. He says, he is a beast. Go JJ, hail Uche. Hail Mexican Iron Man. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Now, you know what? Let me see. Was this what I wanted to look at here? Oh yeah. This is how Deshaun Watson must feel right now. He's got to feel like this. I mean, seriously, Deshaun watching JJ Watt and D-Hop on the same team. I mean, that was supposed to be us. That was supposed to be us. That's how he feels. Look at it. He is literally standing at the window of the outside gate of the Texans franchise, and he can't go nowhere. He's stuck. And there go D-Hop and J.J. Watt like, yeah. Now, what if they win the Super Bowl next year? How freaking bad is that going to be if Deshaun Watson has to play? look, Deshaun Watson's situation is so bad for him. He really doesn't have any power in this. He doesn't have any leverage. That's his problem. You just signed a new deal. Now, granted, and nobody's going to argue this. Nobody's going to argue against this. Granted, the Houston Texans have done so much damage to their own franchise. They have literally shattered the foundations of their franchise in less than 12 months. In less than 24 months, they have literally destroyed a franchise to the point of, like, it's not even recognizable anymore. It's terrible. And that's because of Bill O'Brien. And he couldn't have known because it all happened right after he signed his contract. It's like he signs his deal, Deshaun Watson. He gets like a nice little, 155 or something like that? $155 million contract. And within like 6 months, they trade your best player, your best receiver, one of the best receivers in the NFL. Trade him away for oft injured over the hill running back, and who they've released, by the way, just yesterday, I think, or on Friday. I'm not sure exactly what day it was, but they just released that Jones. It's a damn. I mean, look, this is when you talk about a Greek tragedy. You talk about a Greek tragedy. This is a Greek tragedy because you just got to think about it. Everything that Deshaun Watson ever wanted to get or ever wanted to achieve as a player in his life from a young age up until this point here was all, it was all in front of him, and he got the big contract, and then everything was a reality, and life couldn't be better because you lost in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs, and it was an ugly loss, no doubt. You guys had a big lead, and then y'all lost. And, even with that loss, there was an expectation coming into this season that we just had that this would be a Texans team that only had to make a few right decisions to set themselves up to be a true Super Bowl contender again. Like it was a little bit of a Cinderella, them getting there to the AFC title game against the Chiefs. But they had the talent to repeat that and to become that. And these bums let this dumbass head coach be the general manager as well, so that you only have one perspective on evaluating any situation that has to do with personnel and payroll. And this dumb, completely misinformed head coach fancies himself a guru, and then he makes quite possibly the dumbest decision in all of NFL free agency history. Probably, I mean, who would say it's not? Who would argue that it's not the dumbest move, the most idiotic decision that you could ever make as a decision maker in a professional franchise? You give away your best, arguably your best player. You give him away. So now all of that hype that Deshaun Watson had, all of that hope that he had, shattered in an instant. And, you don't know if it's going to be that kind of reality until you actually make it to that point and you start playing into games into the season. And by like week 5, you know by week 5 what the destiny of your team is going to be. I'm telling you, our worst seasons in Jacksonville for me was 2011, 2012, or no, 2012, 2013. I mean, I knew by week 5. I knew by week 5 it was going to be a long, rough, painful season. I knew it. I was like, and the crazy thing is, I don't even remember any games from that season. I only remember like 2 games. I only remember like 2 games from that season. That's how bad that season was. Like when I think in my head, I have to like see the film of that game to kind of have it jogged back into my memory to know that I had even played in it, because that was like a season that I've omitted from my brain. It was that bad. It was almost traumatizingly bad. That's what happens when you have Mike Mularkey as your head coach. It was almost traumatizingly bad. So I know what D Watt's going through, and it's crazy because I think he's here in Atlanta. I think he's in Atlanta right now, because I saw like his foundation's car in the city. I saw his foundation's car, and I've never seen it. I've never seen nothing that has to do with him out here in Atlanta. So that was weird. So he must be out here. But man, I tell you what, when they fuck up, when the franchise fucks up, when they fuck up bad, I mean, people's buttholes could break a penny in half, could snap a penny. That's how tight bootied everybody working on the staff gets, because at that point, everybody's job is on the line. Maybe not the players, but definitely the staff. Their jobs are all on the line. So it's crazy, because you know that y'all ain't gonna do shit. When you know y'all ain't gonna do shit and you just want out, Deshaun Watson wants out. But it's like, no, you can't get out. You're stuck for at least another year. I think he needs to kind of come to grips with that. You might as well just rock it out one more year, bro. Rock it out one more year. You know what I'm saying? Because, look, this guy had overall QBR was second best in the NFL this season. He was number 1 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and number 2 in QB rating. Like, on a team that sucked. So we know it's not him. Everybody knows it's not him. I think part of the problem is their O-line is so bad that he's worried that he's going to get hurt. And he's already had a blown ACL. I don't think he wants to, I really don't think, I really think that's his biggest concern. That would be my biggest concern. I ain't trying to get hurt. These bums can't block for me. I mean, the dude was making magic happen. Like, it's such a shame, because there are some players who are so, and it's different now, obviously, but I've seen it in the past. There are some players who are so loyal to the team, to that underdog overcoming attitude, that they can blow their best years, in a situation that they know is bad. I mean, that's why when Mike Mularkey was in Jacksonville, I was like, shit, they don't fire this cat after this season, I'm requesting a trade, because I'm not trying to play another year here if this guy is what we have to look forward to. Hell no. Let me out. I want out now if that's going to be the case. But yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Let me take a look at the chat here. What you guys up to? Okay. See you, Mark, Brennan. What you do? Hey, Mark, didn't you have a membership? What's going on there? What's going on there? I don't see no icon by your name. Thought you was a member. What's going on? Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check my membership list again. Some of y'all need to go ahead and jump on the bandwagon. Get you that $4.99 deal. Shoot, next week, when I do my top 10 offensive linemen for this NFL draft, I'm going to actually, that's going to be members only, a members only stream. So, if you're not a member already, think about being a member, because when I do that, we're going to do a top 10 And I'm probably going to do a little Q&A or something like that after that so we can all chill, hang out, do some member shit, you know what I mean? But that's only if you're a member. So my top 10 will be in form of a live stream, and then that live stream won't go to the general public for probably, till the week of, maybe the week of the draft. That's going to be sitting. So think about it. Oh, we got Mike Jackson. Welcome to we got a hog in the house. Hog level. Trench hog. I love it. There we go. Welcome to the line, bruh. You part of that old line now. Woo! Welcome to the O-line. Yeah. All right. What we got next up in here? Let me see. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's get through this article here on Louis Nix. Louis Nix. This was a defensive lineman from, I believe he's a defensive lineman from Notre Dame. Played some years in the NFL. I actually have a little bit of information that a friend of mine who lives in Jacksonville and knows him gave me a little bit more info. But I'll go into that after this article. But we'll go through this quickly and we'll talk about this because I do think this is important because of a number of just unfortunate circumstances that we're seeing now with a lot of football players, post-football life. And, everybody knows about the CTE situation. Everybody knows about, the concussions. And, there's a lot of, shady shit that the NFL and NFLPA are doing behind the scenes that they've been doing with regard to the CBA that they just did this last year. Just a lot of shady shit that nobody's really, hearing about. And, behind the scenes, a lot of the things that they're doing are affect a lot more the guys who have retired already. I've talked about a number of different things. I've done videos on a number of different things. Like, for instance, in 2 years, they're going to start cutting down the benefits that are paid to retired players who, played their time. Some cats, played at earlier years in the past where they don't even get some of the benefits that I get as a retired player, but they getting a little something. But the NFLPA are about to start cutting those benefits by like 25%. Like some of these motherfuckers, like that's going to fucking put them on the edge. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where you could potentially have situations like this just continue to repeat themselves. I'm always trying to make people somewhat aware of this so that people can understand that it's not just about, motherfuckers making money, playing football because, anybody, people make money all the time. People lose money all the time. Like that's just a physical thing. Like the NFL has a level of success that it owes to the players who played. And, for a league that made $31 billion last year, you would think they could do a little bit more, or at least act like they want to do a little bit more when it comes to the players who have played and are retired and how they're treated for their benefits and how their benefits are measured based on the damage that they've taken throughout the course of their career from a bodily standpoint and a mental standpoint. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They want to pay as little money as possible. Like what sense does that make? We made that there wouldn't be no league if it wasn't for the players. There would be no league. So why not take care of the guys who, played 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 18, 20 years? Shit. Not everybody's got the ability to have, the longevity of relevance like a Tom Brady or anybody or an Aaron Rodgers, anybody like that. Like, come on. It's crazy because, you just see the just how they really don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care. How do you change the verbiage and the rules in the CBA after the CBA has already been voted on and ratified? That's not even like legal. Like, you can't do that. And that's what they did to take away benefits from retired players. But let's go into this because, like I said, there's some pieces that I can add to this story that will give a little bit more perspective on, just the situation that our man Lewis Nix was in here. Nix's mother confirmed his death after a vehicle matching his car description was pulled from a retention pond near his apartment in Jacksonville. Former NFL defensive lineman Lewis Nix was found dead Saturday at age 29. I mean, damn, 29, dude. I'm 36, and like, what the hell was going on where this cat, passes away at 29? I don't understand it. Days after he was reported missing in Jacksonville, Florida, Nix's mother confirmed his death after authorities pulled a vehicle matching his car's description from a retention pond near his apartment. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office said it was looking for Nix after he was reported missing Wednesday. The Sheriff's Office tweeted late Saturday that Nix had been located but did not provide further details. Did not immediately respond to requests for comment Sunday. Yeah, I think there was a bit of confusion there when our guy was said to have been located and they didn't provide any more details. I think people kind of assumed when the police department said that he'd been located that meant he was alive, but I think they were holding back that information and not actually giving out whether or not he was deceased. Because they're probably trying to get in touch or probably talking with his family to give them the news before they gave anybody else the news. Because that was actually like a big story out there in Jacksonville when he went missing. So let me see. It says it was not clear whether a cause of death had been determined. Nix was drafted by Houston Texans in 2014, after a notable collegiate career at the University of Notre Dame in Indiana. Those are our rivals, but we'll put that to the side for right now. He was often affectionately known in college as the Irish Chocolate or Big Lou. The school described Nix as a four-year star prospect who quickly helped anchor the defensive front for the team as it fought for championships. Nix was an All-American in his junior year. Oh, damn, he was an All-American. Okay, nice. And began his senior year on both the Maxwell and Bednarik Award watch list, Notre Dame said. After a knee injury he suffered during his final year at Notre Dame, he continued to a knee injury he suffered during his final year at Notre Dame continued to ail him in the NFL, however. He needed surgery before he made it to the Texans training camp and another operation before the end of his rookie season. Ooh. Nix had stints with the Texans, Giants, and Washington football team and Jaguars during his 3 seasons in the NFL. Nix was a victim of an armed robbery in December when 2 men approached him as he was filling his tires at a gas station. Nix was shot and spent 10 days in the hospital after he needed surgery for injuries from a bullet that ricocheted off his sternum and into his lung. Fuck! Damn. Holy shit. It's crazy. Holy shit. So this guy got robbed in December. He got shot in the chest. The bullet ricochets off his sternum and goes into his lung. Fucking lucky. Oh my goodness. Lucky as shit. Damn, things were clearly going downhill. Friends, former teammates, and coaches mourn Nix's death, memorializing him on social media. Notre Dame football coach Brian Kelly posted a tribute video from Nix's time at the university. In one clip, Nix tells an interviewer that he just tries to remain true to himself and be the guy that breaks the ice wherever or everywhere he goes. So a good guy. He was just a good guy. Former Notre Dame team athlete Romeo Okwara, a defensive end for the Detroit Lions, tweeted that Nix would be greatly missed. Always wanted to put a smile on everyone's face, Okwara said. Glad I got to share some unforgettable moments with you. Yeah. So let me see here. Let me take a look. Because I got a buddy in Jacksonville who used to train me. And I had a, let me see here. It's one of the guy who trained me in Jacksonville. He trained a bunch of us when I was in Jacksonville, and you know we were texting about this in our group chat yesterday. And my guy said that he actually got shot twice in the sternum. But that, you know, and that's a detail that they had here in the article as well. But the thing that he said that, of course, you know, this has kind of been the recurring thing. And this is a guy who's not a football player. This is a guy who trains professional athletes, and he's a guy who I've known for, you know, 10 plus years. And, you know, in the off season, we go to his facility to train in Jacksonville. So he said, I just talked to him 2 weeks ago. He was in a really bad headspace, which basically meant that he was depressed. He was depressed. He was stressed, depressed. Just was not himself, and that's coming from, you know, my guy here. Let me see here. Yeah, that's. Let me see. Yeah. So, you know, he was dealing with some mental as well as dealing with that physical issue, being, you know, a victim, getting shot and robbed. But, you know, condolences and thoughts and prayers out, obviously, to Louis Nix's family. It's a sad situation all around. I really, you know, it really sucks to, I mean, you know, we don't know what the situation is, but if it were, you know, something that ended up being, you know, a suicide, that would not totally surprise me. That's something that is that's prevalent in football players, and I mean not even just football players. I think that's prevalent in most all stressful like lifestyles that revolve around a certain routine, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out for your entire life. And then when it just stops out of nowhere, whoosh, that can be, you know, one of the first things that becomes an obstacle for players to deal with. I mean, shit, I dealt with it when I retired. I was depressed I felt like years. And I struggled with it. And I just, you know, I had other things going on. So it, you know, there was time to pull myself away from, you know, out of the mindset where I just didn't feel like I was like I had any identity or anything to do or any purpose. And you just, you kind of lose that self-worth. It kind of, that confidence that you had and that self-worth that you used to feel, you don't feel it anymore. And that's really just a fact of the matter for any person who's involved in a trade that's pretty much your life's work. Like, in order to be a football player and to be a football player at the highest level, football had to have been your life's work. It had to have been everything you had ever done for the majority of your life, for almost most of your complete youth, adolescence into adulthood life. Football was a big part of that. And I'm from Texas. Like, it is football. That's it. Like, that's it. Texas high school football. That's it. So it can really affect people. It really can. I mean, I think we hear about it all the time. It happens with people who work in people, blue collar workers from back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s before, globalization kind of started in the 90s. A lot of these people had been like career factory workers, like 30 years doing that. And then all of a sudden, boom, jobs are gone. And they ain't got no other skill set. So they go through that same kind of thing. It's not, isolated to athletes, but it's isolated to certain circumstances and paths that your main skills and your main craft and your main aspirations all kind of revolve around. Like, everything that you know revolves around that. So when that wheel stops, that's rough for a lot of people. So let's hope that it's not a situation where our guy decided, he would take his own life. But, we see it, Vincent Jackson. Vincent Jackson's another cat. I mean, this is a guy who, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. This guy checked himself into and think about this now. What was going on in Vincent Jackson's head that was such an interruption to his ability to kind of cope and operate on a daily basis, that he left his family, left everyone he knew, and went and checked himself into a hotel and was there for a month before he passed. And, they did the autopsy on Vincent Jackson, and it's showing that he could have probably passed from alcohol poisoning or a mix of alcohol poisoning and probably some kind of prescription narcotic. I mean, I don't want to speculate, but come on, man. I've seen this. I've seen this story. This is not a story that I haven't heard, whether it be, a teammate or a teammate of a teammate, or I'm sorry, a teammate of an old teammate who went to different teams, and we all had mutual friends. Like, this is not really new. It's not really new. So, I just try to maintain, you know what I mean? I try to maintain, I know it's hard for cats because it's been hard for me, and I even have my days still sometimes, but, I do what I can. Part of what helps me from a therapeutic standpoint is coming on here talking to y'all. Is making videos for my channels, like being able to communicate with an audience. Like, those are things I really care about because I like to talk. I like to talk. But, talking football and talking just sports, talking video games, all those things, like, those make me feel better because, I have my own times where I don't be feeling like really doing nothing. Like, just because I'm not feeling up, I'm feeling I'm feeling down. You know what I mean? You feel depressed. So, you know, it's all things that we deal with. I mean, and I don't want no pity from nobody about that shit, because that's just, you know, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But we got formerly Rod Line here for $1.99. What up? He says, check your Twitter. Maybe it will cheer you up. Oh, word. Let's see what you got on the bird. All right, let's see. What we got here. Let's see. Oh, hey. This is what the fuck I needed. Oh, look at it. This is what I needed. See, these are the things I wanted to make like my logos, bro. Can I get this? Like, you know, I'm using this. I'm using it. Wow. I'm turning this into my damn profile pic. I see you, cuz. I see you. Dude, that's freaking awesome. You know, that's dope. This is dope. I like that. That's totally me right there. And so is that. And so is that. I mean, that's obviously me. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Ooh, hey, if you got, do you have like that in a file? Like each one of those separately in a file you can send to me? Formerly Rod? Wow. That's dope. That's really dope. Shoot. Yeah, that definitely cheered me up. Hey, man, I want those. If you can, I'll give you my email address, and you can send me those. Here, let me put my email in the chat real quick. Oh wait, no, you don't have my email. Hey, send them to that email. Send them to that email address. Formerly, God damn, son, that shit is nice. Hey, and real talk, if you can, if you finish these and you do like the actual, like you finish them like all the way out how you want them, dude, let me know. I'll buy them from you. Because I want to use it as my logo. Use one of these as part of my logo. Shoot, this is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been looking for, son. Shit. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. That fucking definitely bumped up my mood. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. Appreciate that, brother. Shoot. That made me feel good. So, like I was saying, Keely Chow, hey, old brother. But, yeah, that's freaking awesome, dude. Thank you. That's dope. Yeah, I got some pretty awesome things coming up though. And you guys, you know, I will just say, because we haven't announced anything yet, but keep up with me on Twitter. Keep up with Geeks and Gamers, because I'm pretty sure that's where we'll be making a pretty huge announcement here coming soon. But it's something that I facilitated that I think is going to be very much enjoyed by everybody. And this is me just speaking from a content standpoint that is not of sports, but definitely of pop culture. And check out my pop culture channel, The Ath Geek. The Ath Geek. That is my new pop culture, gaming, movies. That's where I'm going to be doing a lot of reactions. I just did a reaction on the latest Justice League teaser. that Zack Snyder dropped over the weekend. And I'll be doing live streams on there as well. All my gaming live streams are going to be going on the Ath Geek. So check out the Ath Geek. Matter of fact, I'll put a link to that. Let me see here. I'll put a link to that in the chat as well. All right, so here is my channel, the Ath Geek. Check that channel out. That is my pop culture channel right there. So you guys can go on there, check out some of the videos I've done, and I think that'll be good because that is where I'm gonna be now, doing a lot more content for pop culture stuff. I'll just kind of fill in a little bit because right now in the sports world, and particularly in the football world, things have kind of slowed down. Obviously, no combine for the NFL draft. You're going to have the draft coming up in like May, I think. But there's obviously going to be a big slowdown on the football side. If it's a huge sporting story, I'll cover it on the channel. But I'm going to try and do more just live streaming instead of just dropping videos on the channel, so that we can, so we can engage in real time. You know what I mean? I feel like that's worth building more into for me with the channel. So let's just keep having fun here, man. You guys hitting the like button, spreading the word. It all does its part to help with the channel. So I really do appreciate you guys in that for doing that. There's no combine. There's no draft no combine this year. They canceled the NFL combine. So I'm, obviously has more to do with the pandemic than anything. But that's what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the draft again virtually. That was like the biggest draft that the NFL's ever had when they did the online virtual NFL draft. I actually think it felt better and more worthwhile in watching than the traditional draft. The traditional draft, veteran players don't give a shit about the draft. We really don't give a shit about the draft. We don't care who you're drafting. Only thing we're looking for is, did you draft anybody at my position? That's the only thing I looked for. And, my entire time in Jacksonville, they never drafted a guard. So somebody was doing their job, right? But anyways, guys, I really do appreciate y'all for being on here. That's going to be a wrap for this Lineman Life podcast. Like I said before, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure, if you want to send me anything, if you want to send me any kind of anything, I don't know, if you want to send something to get signed or anything like that, hit me up on the email that I got there in the chat, and we can discuss details and everything like that. But I appreciate you guys once again. I will catch you all on the next live stream, and make sure you tap that notification bell so you can get notified when I do actually do that. When I do actually do that live stream. But I'm your observant lineman, Uche Waneri. I'll catch you all on the next one.